he's been a firm supporter and a great friend of the park, Paul Deister.
Thanks, Mark. So I want to tell you a little story. There was a man got up one beautiful sunny morning, maybe a June morning, went walking through the woods. Could be the woods right here on Goat Island. And as he was walking through the woods, he noticed there on the forest floor a beautiful wildflower. And he looked at the wildflower, and at first he thought to himself, it's so beautiful, maybe I'll be selfish and just keep the secret of where this wildflower is located just for myself. And then he thought, no, I can't do that. It's such a beautiful flower. The world will want to see it. I have to tell people. So he told his closest friend about the wildflower. Well, his closest friend told two of his closest friends, and they told two each of theirs. And by the time the sun had gone down, there were 1,000 people walking through the woods, looking down on the ground, going, I heard there was a beautiful wildflower here. Well, of course, by then, the wildflower had been trampled into the dirt, right? Well, that's the dilemma that we face here at the park at Niagara. Luckily, Frederick Law Olmsted saw the dilemma coming over 100 years ago and introduced this principle that what's most important here at the park at Niagara is to allow the greatest possible access for all the people who want to come from around the world to view this great natural wonder, but at the same time to protect that natural wonder so it will still be there for future generations, right? Well, as some of the speakers have said already, I think we were getting the feeling that our wildflower was getting a little bit trampled here and that it was time to do something about it. Must have been very, very intimidating as a landscape architect to be called in to walk in the boots of Frederick Law Olmsted. But the principles, I think, are very clear, and we can see the direction that all of these works are headed, right? If you can get rid of concrete and instead put in green space, why wouldn't you do it? If you can get rid of invasive species and restore native ones, why wouldn't you do it? And how can you put in place infrastructure that allows the greatest possible access to everyone, including people with disabilities, to view this great natural wonder, but at the same time keep them from trampling the wildflower? And I think that what you see here is an excellent example of a balancing of those principles of greatest possible public access and greatest possible protection of the natural resource. And I want to thank all the fine talents that went into the design and construction for doing a really, really great job. And as Thomas Herrera Mischler was telling me, as we're looking down at the plants, which look kind of small, right now, what is it? The first year they sleep, the second year they creep, and the third year they leap. So maybe we should come back in 3 years to see what the landscape design, really looks like. Senator Maziarz was mentioning what we were all doing a year ago today. I don't think I slept, the night before the Wallenda walk. I was already in a frenzy, along with Angela Birdie and Ryan Coe and Chris Shefflin and a bunch of other people who were working on the ground to make that a great success. I remember what I had for breakfast the next morning. I think Chris Shefflin and I were walking down Old Fall Street, realized we probably weren't going to get anything to eat, and at that point, Mary Ann Howe came up to us and gave us a beautiful chocolate bar with a Niagara Falls imprinted on the front of it from Honeymoon Sweets. And I'm going to reveal our secret. We broke it in half and ate it on the spot because we knew we weren't going to get any lunch that day, and we hadn't had any breakfast. And by golly, we were right too, Chris, weren't we? All right. Sorry about telling that story. Well, the senator was talking about this fantastic Wallenda walk, and of course people remember when it was first announced that there was going to be stunting allowed again at the falls, and before people knew it was Wallenda or that it was only going to be a one-time thing, there was a lot of concern about the potential impact on, the historic character or the natural environment, what it was that was going to happen, with this tightrope walk. As it turns out, everything turned out great. In fact, the day after the walk, I watched Nick Wallenda here picking up gun wrappers himself to make certain that Goat Island went back the way it was before the walk occurred. But to me, the dominant, lesson of that, and I recall, the cover of the Buffalo News the next day had that absolutely fantastic, stunning photograph of Wallenda in the center of his walk, And I think Derek G. from the Buffalo News took the picture from the observation tower, and you know how puny Wilenda, you know, looked against this great expanse of you know, the natural wonder of the falls. And it was a reminder to me that whatever types of man-made attractions we install here at Niagara Falls, at the end of the day, the real attraction is the God-given attraction of the natural beauty of Niagara Falls. Anything we can do to protect and enhance that for future generations while allowing the world to come and see it today and tomorrow is a job well done. So again, congratulations to everyone, tourists and residents who have the opportunity to visit the park are going to enjoy the fruits of your labors for generations to come.
All right, good morning. Welcome to Niagara Falls State Park. You can respond. This could be a two-way street here. Woo! My name is Pete Gallivan. I'm the Governor's Western Regional Director of Communications, and the Governor passes along congratulations on this great day as we cut the ribbon on a few attractions here and break ground for another. It is an exciting day. Over the next hour or so, we're going to be celebrating the first wave of Governor Andrew Cuomo's $25 million investment into America's oldest state park as part of the New York Works money. The Governor's commitment to this park and this area just reinforces what the Western New York Regional Economic Development Council has been pushing, that tourism is a very important link to our region's recovery, financially speaking, and our future. And what better place to start than New York's oldest state park, Niagara Falls State Park, that attracts 8 million visitors a year. To be able to improve this park is not only exciting, it is vital. Now, the plan for the day, we're going to start here. You're going to hear from several of our speakers, and then we are going to be taking you down to the different projects, several ribbon cuttings, Luna Island, the Cave of the Winds, Three Sisters, and then a groundbreaking at Prospect Point. And don't worry if you don't have comfortable shoes, we've got the Niagara Scenic Trolley that will be helping us get from point A to point B to point C and so on and so forth. We're going to start with our speakers and then move from project to project, and then we'll be able to also say a few words about each project. And the other exciting thing, you'll get a chance to meet the workers, the foot soldiers, the boots on the ground that are making this all come together. But we're going to start with the man who has been instrumental in seeing these projects through. He is the director of the Western District for the New York State Parks, Mr. Mark Thomas.
Welcome again, and thank you for coming today. We really appreciate everybody's presence here in this incredible park. I have a number of people to thank today for our arriving at this point. And that, first of all, I want to start with our Governor, Andrew Cuomo, and our Commissioner, Rose Harvey. They have been instrumental in bringing the resources to the table that made this project possible. So thank you very much, Rose, and to our Governor. The next group of people I need to recognize is our Parks Commission here in Niagara. And we have over here 3 of our members. We have Donna Joya, hi Donna, Cindy Litro, and Harvey Alban. Where's Harvey? There he is. Okay, good. Thank you all for being with us today. And also, along with a soon-to-be appointed Stuart Angert is with them as well. Stuart, thank you for coming, being with us and sharing this event today. In addition, our staff, the operations staff that helps make this place a special visit for over 8 million visitors a year. And I'd like to, first of all, recognize Ron Peters, who's our Deputy General Manager, who's here with us today. Ron, thank you for all the work you do in making this happen. Tom Watt, who's the General Park Manager here for Niagara Falls Park, and all of your staff that make it possible for people to really have a great time here when they come to Niagara.
Thank you very much, Mark. Is there anyone here that Mark has not introduced? I leaned over to the commissioner and I said, you know, he missed that tourist from Toledo, Ohio that was walking by. They're the most important ones here, by the way, the tourists that are over there. Hopefully spending money, right, Jim Glenn? Do you all remember what you were doing 1 year ago today? Commissioner Harvey and Governor Cuomo knew what they were doing. They were constantly on the phone with each other. And they were saying, if he makes it, if it's a success, we all did it. If he falls, this was the dumbest idea Mazy Arts ever had. 1 year ago tomorrow, the eyes of the world were here on Niagara Falls when Nick Wallenda did his famous walk. Just wanted to mention that. I do want to, now Commissioner Harvey told me, she said, you know, it's a little breezy out here, a little overcast, maybe going to rain. I said, Commissioner, the good news is that means the speeches are going to be short. She said, make sure yours is short. I said, Commissioner, I'm short 365 days a year. The Commissioner reminded me of the first conversation she and I ever had when we first met, when she was up, when she was first appointed by Governor Cuomo, and she was coming before the Senate for a confirmation. To say that to be polite, to say that the conversation was, what should we say, Commissioner? Aggressive, whatever, interesting, maybe. We talked then about the lack of state involvement here in Niagara Falls State Park and in Niagara Falls and Niagara County in general. And I have to tell you that working with Commissioner Harvey, this administration, Governor Cuomo, certainly with the New York State Power Authority, that has changed. You know, in 2005, when we signed the agreement for the relicensing of the Niagara Power Project, part of that money was going to go to be reinvested here to make the tourism experience here a much better experience. To do long neglected capital improvements here in the Niagara Falls State Park and in other state parks here in this region. And that's what brings all of us here today. It's not the anniversary of the Nick Wallenda Walk. I wish it was, but it is to commend this administration, Governor Cuomo, Commissioner Harvey, Mark Thomas and his crew, who he's all introduced, on this probably the first major investment in decades in this park. These four entities that you're going to see today, cut the ribbon and break ground on today, this is millions of dollars of money generated by the New York State Power Authority here in Niagara County, being kept here in Niagara County, being spent here in Niagara County to make sure that the experience that people from throughout the world come to here to visit have a great experience and leave with a much more positive impression of Niagara Falls and of the state park. So
I'm going to button my jacket before I get blown away with like a kite, right? So good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to be here back at home with my colleague, Senator Maziarz. You know, everywhere I go since I've been an assembly member in Albany, I talk about those experiences when I worked right here. And at times I carry a postcard of Niagara Falls, and I've got pictures in my district office as well as my assembly office in Albany. And you know what? It's breathtaking. I mean, people look at it. If you've never been here, you want to be here, and that's the beauty of Goat Island and Niagara Falls State Park. When you think about the history in time, 2,000 years ago, this island was underwater. And when it came over right by around the Shilkaw Power Plant over there, it was called the high end of the gorge. At that point, Goat Island popped up. And nature showed us its best and its blessings, because this ground here became ground that was very fertile with a mist. And it attracted very important species from all over the world, did not have it, but it was here. And the birds came, and then people. And then we also get the experience, and others and patrons come here to enjoy the beauty of the falls. And we truly have a beauty. And it's not only the beauty, but because of that attraction, it's an economic engine for the area. And that's the key thing, as Senator Maziarz talked about Nick Wallenda. You know, it was great to be part of that, but the key thing is we put it on notice again that we're here, and everybody I've talked about Nick Wallenda who saw that said, I want to go there. Again, it's just like those pictures that I carry. The beauty of the falls carries itself. We have something special. We just have to get it out. And we have to help Niagara Falls, the city of Niagara Falls, to make that where it's jobs and people come here and invest in the city. The other thing is Oh, I think it was my first year as a freshman on the assembly, Senator Maziers and I, and he was mentoring me at that time, teaching me of our job duties and helping me as well. And there was an article in the paper that said that this area was shabby. And for years when I got elected, a lot of times people would say, you know what, we never get our fair share here. We don't get our fair share here. And then there was an article that says the park was become very shabby. And we met with the commissioner, and we met with the governor's people, and we talked about that. And my God, to my pleasure, the governor listened. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like a kid in a candy store when I seen the governor have on his budget that there was monies coming to this park. And then when he announced the Buffalo Billion and the low-cost power, and then yesterday with the agreement in the Senecas, I mean, things are happening here. Money is coming back to this area where it belongs. We've been fighting for a long time, and they're listening to us in Albany. They're listening to now, and you know what? We're going to keep them listening to us because we deserve it. We have to bring our jobs here, and that's amazing to be part of that. It really is, and I'm so appreciative to the governor and his administration because you know what? As he's fighting for us as well, I know firsthand that others are saying, well, what about us? What about us? And the governor, God bless his heart, is saying, you know what, like a stepchild or a child that's been hurting or somebody that needs a little help, he's saying, Western New York needs our guidance. And if Western New York does better, we're all going to do better in New York State. Because, and he says this a lot, we're New Yorkers first. And that's a great thing. And for that, I'm very appreciative for the monies that are coming back to this area. I'm very appreciative of the governor and the people that he appointed into these positions. God bless everybody, and thank you for hearing me. Thank you.
Commissioner, congratulations to all of the elected and appointed leaders. Congratulations for all your advocacy and your hard work and for achieving this important milestone. I always say we have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity with a governor that's made a once-in-a-lifetime commitment to Western New York. And I can say on behalf of the Governor's Regional Economic Development Council, we're extremely bullish on Western New York and on Niagara Falls. The governor always talks about jobs and then jobs and finally jobs. And tourism is a key component of the governor's commitment to transform the Western New York economy, and tourism is centered right here in Niagara Falls. So whether you see him advocating for and making the Maid of the Mist happen here on the U.S. side, or whether he's talking about the Robert Moses configuration, or whether the state is supporting the infrastructure here at the park, the state standing ready to support enhanced programming here at the park, the continued transformation of the Rainbow Mall. Niagara Falls plays a central role in the Western New York economy, plays a central role in the tourism economy for the benefit of both Niagara Falls and all of Western New York. And I know the governor's commitment is, again, extraordinary. And we look forward to keeping people longer, having them spend more money, and creating many thousands of jobs for Niagara Falls and Western New York. Thank you all very much.
I think I'm the last speaker. I stand between you all and seeing the improvements in lunch, so I will be short. It was all made possible with Governor Cuomo's leadership, but this team right here, which he charged all of us to make Niagara Falls State Park, make it what it could be, make it the very best. And remember, the Niagara Falls State Park enjoys 8 million visitors a year. That's more than any of our state parks. It's more than most national parks. And it's also in a very compressed time. And remember that Olmsted planned this park with an expectation of 200,000 visitors total. And remember that we're in a a climate microcosm of cold weather, ice, wind scouring this park for the last 150 years it's been a park, for that last billion years that it's been here. And then remember, it is the oldest state park in the nation, and as such has been entertaining visitors for a very long time. So it is tired. It's been loved, and it was a little shabby, George, as you talked to me my first day on the job. And Governor Cuomo committed to Western New York, said make something happen. We did in 2011 commission a plan. It was a $25 million plan to rehabilitate. Thank you, Trowbridge, Wolf, and Michaels. And today, and it was a plan, as the governor always says, that's not going to sit on the shelf. Not 1 minute in the shelf. It's going into the ground. So 2 years later, we finished the plan. We know what we're doing. It's fully financed with $25 million. Thank you again to New York Works. Thank you to NYPA. Thank you to the Greenway Fund, which helped finance it as well. And today we're dedicating 3 of the many improvements that you're going to see over the future, and we're going to break ground on the 4th. You're going to see $5 million worth of improvements, and you're going to see another breaking ground, another $4 million, and we've got $25 million more to go, because actually it's more than $25 million. It's probably about 30. So Mark has thanked everyone, and I just, again, it's everyone sitting right here that made it happen. Everybody out there. There are a few that he did forget, and he didn't forget, but one is Lucy Walesky, Lucy Rockefeller Walesky, who's I wanted to thank personally. She is the chair of all our councils, and she is also gave us the money to do this plan early on, because she too had the vision to make it happen. And so on that note, I want to say that we're going to go visit all the sites. Remember, this is just the beginning of something that's very exciting. And Paul, I want to say that this plan that we did will balance. It will balance the principles of Olmsted. It will fully embrace that this is a natural wonder like none other, and it is the central defining feature of Central Park, but it will also address the visitor's experience. It will make it better. It will end the lines. It will improve the circulation. It will add services to all of our visitors. Services not only to this park, but to the city of Niagara Falls, so that together we can build the economy of Western New York. So thank you. Okay, ready? On 3? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Hey! One for the history books, huh?